Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. That is some fantastic news. Oh, I'm so relieved. Um, Thanks for the update. I have my mod Toot, who is also my spouse, but just uh, my everything Toot, who is taking care of a sick kidder right now. Um, and she's eating kibble. Yay, I'm so happy. That's exciting. It's so good. So hello everyone, welcome, welcome. It is Crafty Chat Monday. It's been a day, it's been a week, it's been a weekend, but let me tell you, I've been looking forward to this. I almost woke up this morning and went, "Can I start Crafty Chat at like 10 a.m.?" Just because I need it a little bit. Oops. Sorry guys, have a slight kitty incursion here. Just knocked over some stuff I'm going to need later, but that's fine. We'll grab it later. um, so yeah, welcome everybody. I hope you're having a good long weekend. I know it's a long weekend here in Canada, and I think it's a long weekend as well in the States. Everybody else, unfortunately, has to suffer, but enjoy your long weekend. I hope you all have something lovely to drink, a project to work on. We're gonna get kicked off. I'm gonna talk about this project that I have in front of me. Right now I just love this shot we have of Pow on the critter cam. She's right down at the bottom if you look, right next to, her beautiful face. Oh, she just went and hid in her shell. I guess she got spookered by me talking about her. But she's right down there at the bottom. And as always, you can do !critter to find out more about whoever is up on the critter cam at any given moment. You can also do !project to learn more about the project that I'm working on here. And if I get completely distracted, of course, we have our ongoing squirrel counter, which is !squirrel. So, yeah. Today I have a lovely cup of tea. I am drinking a holiday chai from Stash. I put in just a little bit of creamer. It's absolutely one of my favorite drinks. Little bit of creamer, always the way to go. There goes Pal. She's so good. Anyway, so welcome to Crafty Chat. I am so glad to see you guys here. We've got a project. We're going to be working on a project. So this, if you will remember our last stream, I was working on the flax sweater by Tin Can Knits. You can tell it's a flax sweater by the signature garter stitch band on the arm and the raglan shaping. So I was working on the body. I think I was just about here on this band of color, and I've actually finished the body all the way. It's a little bit hard to show, so I actually have a, let's see if this works. Yes, so this is a picture I took earlier of the whole thing up on one of our lovely mannequin friends who live in our house. Their names are Hansel and Derek. So Hansel here is showing off the lovely sweater. You can see the gradients. I just did a simple 1x1 ribbing bind off at the 1x1 twisted rib on the bottom, and then a very simple what's called a lace bind off. It's slip knit, slip the stitch back to the last needle, and then slip knit together with the stitch you just knit. Anyways, it's a very lovely, stretchy, fast bind off. I am 100% over sewn bind offs, so this is what we went. It gives you this really lovely knitted edge. Come on, camera, focus. Must focus. There we go. It gives you a really lovely knitted edge like that. So the body is done. It fits beautifully. It fits. It's got just a little bit of ease. It's a lovely drapey fabric. So we are now moving on to the sleeves. You can see I did the body first, and then the sleeves are on interchangeable needle cables with stoppers. So all I have to do to work on these is pop some needles on these and just keep going. However, there is an issue, and I'll tell you guys what the issue is. The issue is I have 2 sleeves to make, and I have this much yarn left. So we're gonna have a short sleeve sweater. Because this is all of the yarn. This yarn is Loops and Thread Shimmer Shawl, which was one of the Loops and Thread special, I want to say 4 years ago, looking at 2019. It has long since been discontinued. I have so far never found a dupe for it, and this is the very last of it that I have. So this is what we're working with. So what we're going to do today, and I saved this for the stream because I thought people might be interested in seeing kind of how I deal with this. I've talked before about I am what you call a large man, and I often find myself having to adapt patterns, make do with less yarn than I need to make a garment that fits my body, modify on the fly, that kind of thing. So this is one thing that comes up occasionally is this pattern is written for 20-inch sleeves. I don't have enough yarn for 20-inch sleeves. I have to figure out what I'm going to do. So in this case, what I'm going to do is, because this is a raglan sleeve, we've already got the beginnings of the sleeve cap. So on me, this falls about halfway between my shoulder. Sorry, this part of the fabric falls about halfway between my shoulder and my elbow. So all I'm trying to do right now is get enough fabric to get to my elbow, maybe an inch past, and then we'll call it good. So it is math time, which is exactly what y'all tuned in to watch on a lovely, relaxing Monday afternoon. Is we're going to do some math. Give me 1 second because I think a cat took off with my scale, so I will be right back with you. I had all of my stuff that I needed for the stream all nice and neatly organized and stacked next to me, and then literally seconds before I went live, a cat came by. And I'm sure you'll see several of them. Like I said, we do have one sick kidder who is currently having some alone time, and the rest of them will definitely make an appearance. Gigi loves when I have the stream set up like this. He will come, he will be annoying, it'll be great. So, what are we going to do? First of all, we have to know how much yarn we're working with. So I have this small digital scale. It's from Next Tech. I bought this scale at Radio Shack, so that'll tell you how long ago I purchased it. I don't know what the original function for this scale was, but if you would like my advice on finding a scale to measure yarn in increments less than a gram, check out your local head shop. They will have the most accurate small gram scales. That's always my advice. And when people say, oh, we don't have legal cannabis here, you probably still have head shops. So this is just a little digital scale. I have had this for well over 14 years. And it still works. Works great. I think I've changed the battery like once. So, I'm just going to weigh my yarn here. The only problem with this scale is that it's a little bit small. So sometimes I'll put a bowl on here to get the actual weight, but usually with a cake I can kind of get it to rest enough that I can weigh. The other reason I like this scale is that it will give me a little beep when it has weighed whatever it is, and then the measurement will stay on the screen. Okay, so we've got 79.2. We've got 79.2 grams. So I'm going to wind off 2 cakes at 38 grams, 39 grams. See, this is why I invited you all here, so that you can help me with the math. So if I've got 79.2 grams and I want approximately half, that's 39.5 grams per cake. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to get my ball winder set up here. And again, this ball winder it's a pretty standard Royal ball winder, but it is also ancient. Again, it's at least 14 years old. So it's holding up remarkably well. I actually don't use a cake winder very often. I prefer to ball by hand. If you've seen my previous streams, you've seen like most of my balls look like that. I've heard these referred to as granny balls. I hate that term. They're just balls. It's a ball of yarn. I prefer this put up, except when I'm working with striped yarn or anything in a gradient, because it's easier to see the progression of colors in a cake like this. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to start winding and then occasionally weigh what we have left here. And then when this hits, let's say 40 grams, I'm going to snip the yarn and then rewind that cake, and then we'll have 2 approximate 39.5 40-gram cakes. And I will start knitting with the smaller of the 2. So I'm going to turn down my microphone a little bit because I feel like this is going to be loud. That's good. Of course, you can probably barely hear me as well, but we'll fix that after. I cannot talk for about 5 minutes. Maybe. We'll see. And yes, welcome to the Toot. She has returned. It is fantastic. also have it tensioned on my hand over here. That's because this tension rod is broken. It doesn't stay in place very well. The prongs that also keep the back of the winder in place are also broken. Like I said, it's over 15. It's, yeah, at least 15 years old. Overshot. So this cake that I've been winding off is now 37 grams, so we have to do a little bit more fiddling. Okay, I think that's as close as we're going to get, so I'm just going to quickly rewind both of these cakes. I am trying to do this as slowly as I can to avoid tangles. I really like hand winding my yarn as well as winding it on the cake winder rather than just working with it from put up. I mean, if you have a twisted skein or a twisted tank, then you kind of have to wind it before you can use it. But even commercial bullet skeins or center pull skeins, I will usually rewind to kind of turn me on to the idea that it's like getting to know the yarn. You can handle it. You can see how it feels in your hands. You can see the color progression. It's just a nice way to get to know the yarn before you get started on the project. Two itty bitty tiny cakes of yarn. God, they're so small. Right. Okay, so this one with the pink on the outside is 36. And this one is 42. This one is 42, so I did not do a great job at splitting that entirely evenly. But I'd rather have a little bit left over than have one sleeve be an inch shorter than the other. Okay. So I'm going to set the ball winder aside for the moment. I really honestly did save this part of the project to do with you guys, just because it's more finicky. It's more technical. I think it might be interesting to see how somebody else does it, because these are kind of the parts of a project that don't always get tutorials. I mean, you can find 1,000 tutorials on how to do the knit stitch or how to pick up a drop stitch, but how to modify a pattern or how to do stuff like this isn't always found easily in a tutorial. I mean, I'm sure Very Pink Knits has one, because Very Pink Knits has a tutorial for everything, and then she has another tutorial that's just the first one, but like slowed down. So anyway, all right, so I'm going to set this larger cake aside. We're going to use this one second, and that way I'm going to use this one up all the way to the end, and then however long this sleeve ends up being, I will knit with this sleeve, and then we'll have a little bit of yarn left over. So this one's going to the side. And of course, you don't have to get a special yarn scale. You can use a kitchen scale. Anything that's going to tell you the small amounts of weight is great. I just prefer one that does parts of a gram, especially if you're dealing like this yarn. It's working up at a worsted gauge, so I don't really need to know if it's 0.2 of a gram. But if I was working in a fingering weight, that can actually be a significant difference, 0.5 of a gram to a gram. So that's why I do like having the little tiny digital scale that's specifically for measuring small weights. Okay, so let's take a look at my sweater. Sorry about that. So this is where we're starting, and this is my yarn. So you can see, this is why I like using cakes for gradient yarns. So we've got, it's purple in the middle, and then it fades to this light pink. And then this is the sleeve that, so I'm going to pick up and start knitting these stitches. So I'm thinking I'm going to start from the pink and work down towards the purple. I think that might be the way to go about things. Don't need the scissors anymore. And we got lucky because this other cake, it starts light pink and goes to purple, so they are going to be strangely matched, considering that I didn't plan it that way at all. Oops. Sorry for the bobbing there. Okay, so my sleeves. Okay, so my sleeves are, what I did was I put them onto an interchangeable needle cord. So interchangeable needles, they come with the cord and the needle separate, and then you swap out what you need according to what you need. So this is already on a cord, it's ready to be knit. I just need to put the needle tips on. So that's what this is here for. This is my needle tip. I've got all my cords in here. I've got all my needle tips here, and then the bigger sizes are on the back side. So this is a 5mm sweater. So I'm just going to grab my 5mm tips. Don't need this anymore. So interchangeable sets usually come with a key, which is just a straight piece of metal. There's a very small hole in the cord itself that the key goes through, and that's just to give you some leverage to tighten or loosen. something. Why are you not tightening? There. Oh no, we're having some technical difficulties with my needles here. Will the other one go on? Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. So I'm just going to tighten that up. Do the same over here. There's something that this needle tip does not want to screw onto here, which is odd, because I was just using this for the body of this sweater. Let's try that again. Okay, there we go. That worked for some reason. Okay, so tighten those up. So when I was knitting, the way this is a raglan construction sweater. So when I was knitting, I started here at the collar, and then I increased at these points. So this is the front of the sweater, and then you increase on the sleeves. You increase out so until you reach the dimension of the sleeve that you need, and then these go onto a holder to be knit later. And then for the armpit area, to make sure there's enough room, you cast on stitches along the bottom. So I knit, put these on holders, cast on, and then kept knitting, and then created this. So the first thing we have to do is pick up stitches. And usually what I do for sleeves is I will start picking up stitches here in the center of the armpit area, the underarm, in the center of the underarm, and make this the beginning of my round. And then I will do all of my increases or decreases, well, decreases usually for sleeves, on either side of that line. However, because these sleeves are going to be so incredibly short, I'm actually not going to do any decreases at all, because usually I would knit about 2 to 3 inches without decreases, and I honestly think about 2 to 3 inches is all that I'm going to get out of this little guy. So no decreases. So, which is going to be good because I used a 16-inch cable, and my upper arm measurement is 22 inches, and this sleeve will be about 24 inches because I like a little bit of ease on my sleeves. So I can knit the whole thing in the round. I don't need to use magic loop. I don't need to do 2 circulars. I can just do the whole thing. Zoom, zoom, zoom. What someone I've heard refer to as NASCAR knitting, where you just go around and around and around really fast in a circle. So let me just, at this point I should probably consult the pattern and see how many underarm stitches I cast on. But I can also just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12. Okay. So we're going to count, so I cast on 12 underarm stitches, so we're going to count 6 stitches in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the center of our underarm. Do I have a stitch marker? I do. So I'm just going to mark that with a stitch marker so I don't forget. Okay, and then we're just going to add our new yarn. Usually I would rewind this so that I'm working from the center of the cake, but it's so tiny. Oh, hi Loliqua, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Yes, so welcome to our Monday evening crafty chat. Absolutely, bullet journaling is a thing that we do here. So I hope that you have something lovely to drink and you can hang out and journal as I work on this sweater. I was just going through, I'm just getting started on the sleeves. I finished the body, I'm just getting started on the sleeves. This is all the yarn I have left to make a sleeve with. So we're gonna do short little sleeves. But yeah, I'm so glad you dropped by. I'm so glad I mean, Jess's, Joshy Corn is a bullet journal YouTuber, for anyone who isn't familiar. But she is, her community has been really great to me, and I just really enjoy hanging out. Thank you so much. Really quickly, I can show you, let's see. So this is what the sweater looks like at the moment. I took this yesterday. So you can see the body is all finished and we're just working on the sleeves now. Swap back over to our top down. Take a fortifying sip of tea. Okay. And the way that I join New Yarn, I've spoken about this before, I don't really do anything special. I just kind of loop it over my needle, draw it through like this. Yeah, thank you. I think the sleeves will look really super cute. The reason that they're so short is because this yarn was discontinued in 2019, and I have not been able to get more of it. So we're doing little short sleeves. But yeah, I leave the tail long, I loop it over my needle, and I just start working with it. So this yarn tail will be woven in. I will probably knot it to my working yarn at some point. And yeah, it'll just get worked in. And then when I'm done, I will weave it in. So that's just drawing it back and forth through stitches. And it'll be nice and secure. So first thing I'm doing is I'm picking up 6 stitches because we said that we had 12 stitches for the underarm. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I usually skip kind of the last stitch and do one in the join, because there's this huge stretch of yarn, this huge stretch of space without any stitches. So I'll usually do one just kind of in there instead to draw it up a little bit closer. You can find 412 different tutorials on making sure you don't get gaps when you're picking up underarm stitches. My tip for that is sew them closed. There's no real good way that I've found that 100% eliminates underarm hole stitches in the knitting process. But a little bit of yarn, and a tapestry needle can go a long way. I'm sure there's actually more than 412 at this point, but there are quite a few tutorials, and everyone has their own method for it, and everyone has their own secret for it. And my secret is sew them closed afterwards. So we're just going to knit around. We just have to knit around to this point, and then pick up 6 more stitches. So the stripy kind of gradient marled effect on the yarn is because it is 2 strands held together. You can see right here. And they're both striping and changing colors at different rates. So that's what he does. Cat approved. Hello, Booby. Hello, Booby. Welcome to the stream. I am so glad that you are also here. We have several cats that will show up at some point. As you can see, we have our critter cam going on. Right now it is in my tortoise house enclosure. But sometimes it is focused on Kitty City, and usually when I have my camera pointed down at my desk like this, the cats will jump up and come say hi. Okay, So I've knit to this point, and you can see that there's this garter stitch band. So garter stitch is kind of the first pattern stitch that most people learn, because it's if you just knit back and forth and just knit, you'll create garter stitch. However, because we're in the round, I have to knit a row and then purl a row and then knit a row and purl a row. So I'm going to grab some stitch markers and just mark off where this band starts and stops so that I don't miss it when I have to do purl rows. So I just have some of the little light bulb stitch markers. These are my favorite for marking stuff in the middle of projects. I have some fancier ones here. You can see we've got all types. I love my big skull one. This one is huge. But I usually use the fancier ones to mark like the start or end of a round, or to mark where as a progress keeper, to say like I started here and now I need to knit to this point. Yeah, this is actually the tag from something that we got around Halloween time at a home goods store, and this was on the this was like attached to the price tag. So I stole it and put it on a stitch marker because it's gigantic and I love it. So let's just pop a stitch marker on here. And I can tell it was on a candle, yes. And I can tell by looking at it that these stitches are purl stitches, which means that my next row I just have to knit across it. Learning to read your knitting is a really great skill to learn. And that's basically just being able to tell what you did in the row below by looking at what the stitches look like in the fabric. And it's a skill that comes with practice, a lot of practice, and sometimes it's hard for anyone to do. Hello, both babies. Hello. There is no journal, only cats. I understand that all too well. We've both trained the cats to know that when I'm just sitting here knitting, or when we're playing video games, when we're just sitting here playing video games, it's time for them to cuddle. When I did this, their ears just perked up. Hi, Moon. Welcome, welcome. Moon, you have to see if Yuna will join us. We're having a kitty party. Apparently my voice is kitty approved. Are you enjoying your day off, Moon? Hi, Yuna. Who's a good little girl? Is it Yuna? Yeah. Slept in and gamed. That sounds good. Playing Valorant, I'm guessing? Yes, my friend Moon is a fantastic Valorant streamer. I hang out with her 3 times a week over on her Twitch channel. She's very good at the pew pew and the clicking of heads. I tried it. I am not very good at it. I prefer video games that have no death involved, and there are no consequences. If there is death, there's no consequences to dying. Jack, and Katie are all part of the DH fan club. Awesome. I love it. The Cozy Kitty Collective. All right. So, Moon, I was just showing off. This is the flax sweater that I was working on last week. You missed all the math, so I'm sure you're very glad. But we weighed out the remaining yarn. We divided it, and this is how much I have for one sleeve. This little ball, and then we're just getting started on the sleeve. So I just knit around, and now I need to pick up the rest of the underarm stitches. If I'm going a little bit slow, it's because I have to turn the rest of the sweater over as I'm working, which is just something that happens when you're starting sleeves. I usually prefer doing the sleeves before the body for that reason, because it's easier to flip sleeves around as you're working the body than to flip the body around when you're working sleeves. But as I said in the last stream, I knew I was going to run out of yarn, so I needed to figure out how much yarn I would have left. So now I'm just going to pick up the other 6 stitches from this underarm along here. And again, I'm going to start in the corner here. So let me see if I can get this a little bit closer to the microphone, no, to the camera. So my first stitch, although it really should be here to line up with that stitch, I'm actually going to pick it up here. And that reduces the holes a little bit. But like I said, what I really recommend for reducing holes is just taking a little piece of yarn afterwards and sewing them up if you have holes. And if you have a little tiny hole and someone comments on it, what are they doing that close to your armpit is really the question. So that's one stitch we picked up. 2, 3, 4. It is pretty common just because of the construction. I lost count. Squirrel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 6. It is pretty common because what you do is trying to pick up around this stitch marker. Okay. Give me 1 second, I'll explain. Just gonna pop a stitch marker on here. Yay, 100 squirrels! I feel like that should be a victory considering how short of a time we've had the squirrel counter. So the way that the sleeves are usually constructed in a seamless sweater, which is this is what it is. Like, I'm not sewing up any seams. So yeah, pretty much. Like, if someone's close enough to comment on your sweater and they're not a fellow knitter and know better, what are they doing that close to you anyways? So yes, I started up here and then I knit down, increasing for the sleeves, and then I got to this point where these stitches were wide enough to accommodate my sleeve width, and then I set them aside and cast on created 12 new stitches to cover, if you think about the underarm of a shirt, so that'll cover basically the armpit area, and then knit down. So it's yeah, so when you go back, you pick up these stitches, you pick up the however many stitches you cast on for the underarm, but then usually at the very corner where the original stitches and your new picked up stitches are, it's very common to create a little hole there, and it's super common. A lot of people have different techniques that they use to combat that, but like I said, my best advice for that is to just sew it up when you're done. It's going to be the most secure. and it's pretty much invisible, as long as you're not using like the complete opposite color yarn and doing a really poor job of stitching. But I'm not a great sewist and I can do it. Okay, so we're back at the beginning. I've just slipped a stitch marker on here. Very, seasonally appropriate Christmas sweater one, Christmas mitten. So now all we have to do is go around in a circle until we run out of yarn. So I have, unfortunately it's not that simple, because I do have the ribbing here, which is 6 rows and then a bind off, so basically 7 rows. So I need to save enough yarn to do 7 rows, which means, you guessed it guys, we're going to do some more math. So bringing out the little scale. This is my trusty scale that I purchased from Radio Shack 15 years ago. It measures in bits of grams. Yeah, we're doing math. Okay, so I'm just going to weigh this little tiny cake. Okay. So this weighs 34.5. Let me just see if I can grab something to write on. I mean, I don't mind math. Math is a huge part of knitting. It's just I know that Moon has difficulty with it. So this is... Why are you not writing? 34.5 grams. My pen is dry, which is not... Which, it's from the dollar store, so what can I expect? Okay. So we've done 34.5 grams. So now we need to knit 7 rows. And then we're going to weigh this again and see how much yarn is left. And that will tell it, and then subtract the 2 numbers. And that will tell us how much yarn it takes to knit 7 rows. And that's how much yarn I need to save. But I'll probably save like a few grams extra. This is, of course, working on the assumption that I'll be able to knit more than 7 rows with more than half of this. Because this does look like quite a bit of yarn, but I know that it's not. It's a deceptive amount of yarn. So yeah. But So we've got Una, Jack, and Katie, but I can't find any of my own kitters. I do not know where they have gone. I'm surprised Gigi hasn't made an appearance yet. You like math? Do you use a dot grid notebook and plan out your spreads like that? I thought so. Yes. Yeah, doing the dot grid, and then like you have 27 rows this way, and then you have like 16 rows this way, so you can do 7. Yeah, it's great. I actually have everything has to be split perfectly, exactly. I'm actually not using any dot grids right now, which is a little bit weird for me. I am I'm in all lined journals right now. Hello. Psst, 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 psst. No, it didn't work on my own. Binks, come on. We have our first visitor. This is Binks. She's a menace. She's a sweetheart. Oh, she's done. That's okay. She'll be back, or Gigi will be back. Yes, everything does have to be split perfectly. I'm using line journals because line journals are what I have, and I kind of want to use them up. Except I'm starting to run out of line journals that are the right size, because I really prefer. I honestly don't know if it's like A5, A6, B5, B6, whatever it is, but I like this size and with the book binding. This is my everyday bullet journal. So this is like my preferred size for notebooks. And all of my current books are approximately that size. Hello, Bobby. Welcome back. Lolaqua says hi. Do you want me to show them that book? Hi. Oh, you want some loves? Lolaqua loves you. So this is Binks. She is 4 years old. She is all black except for a little tiny white star. She has discovered the camera, so we're gonna get some bouncing. There we go. Sorry if you're seasick. And now she's heading over to the mic. We don't rub on the mic, baby. That gives people earaches. Yeah? Hi. She's a total sweetheart. She just loves on everything. Binks is... she's a menace. She is a menace. She's also a sweetheart. She is my cat. You know how there's some cats just get super bonded to one of their humans? We are super bonded. Yes, black cats are beautiful. I love when they're in a dark spot and they just turn to look at you and all you see is those eyes. Dem eyes, right? Yeah. She's sitting just behind the camera, where you guys can't see her, but she's sitting there watching me and taking a bath. Yeah, she's definitely a daddy's girl. She loses her mind whenever I leave the house. Okay, so I've reached my garter stitch panel here. Where did my stitch marker go? Did I flip it off? Yes, I did. I somehow managed to meet my stitch marker. But this is why I like these light bulb stitch markers, is they open, they're like a little tiny safety pin. So I can insert them onto the needle between two stitches. I don't have to be at that spot. But what I was saying, one of the things Binks was loving on is I have a book stand on my desk, which holds whatever book I'm currently using. So this is my crafting log. It's in a Hocus Pocus notebook. I have a Hocus Pocus notebook and a cat named Binks. I think you can see a theme here. So this is just my spread for this particular sweater. I've got all my notes on the construction, and over here is what needles I'm using, what yarn I'm using. I have the label from the yarn here, where the pattern is from, all those details. And then when I'm finished, this big blank space here, I'm going to put in a picture of the finished object. So I'm just going to write down how much yarn I have left. 79.5 grams. Okay, for short sleeves. As you can see, I'm actually running out of room to leave notes if I want to do that. So let's see. We have... and then I'll just add more notes as we go. So this just sits here. So this is finished. Hi, Earls. This is Early. Early would desperately like me to give her some affection. Hi, Early. Yeah. Yeah. It's non-stop kitties. Non-stop kitties. No growling. You're both allowed to be here. Okay. Bye-bye. Or not. Just stand there. Everything is better with cats. So Early, the one who you can just about see, we're not loving on the mic. She will actually curl up on my chest while I'm doing pretty much anything. She's kind of figured out exactly the spot to lie in where I can knit or play video games without disturbing her. So that's her favorite place to be, except right now I'm sitting forward in my chair so that I can knit on screen. So she can't do that, and I think she's a little bit upset about the fact that we can't cuddle right now. I'm sorry, baby, we'll cuddle tonight, okay? Daddy will play some Witchwood. Yeah, we'll play some Witchwood and we'll cuddle. I know. Screams. Okay, goodbye. Goodbye. She'll be back. Anyway, yes, this is the finished spread. It's got pictures of my finished objects. It's got my notes on like how many stitches I cast on, and you know, how many stitches I increased or decreased, and all that information. And then every month I do kind of a wrap up or a monthly spread that has a list of all of my current whips. Thank you for the follow, Laliqua. I really appreciate it. That puts us at 19 followers, so we are one off from our next goal of 20, which is so exciting. Getting so close. Every time I get a new follower, I'm just like, ee, tiny little dance. Tiny little dance. I really appreciate it. It does help more than you know. I'm totally distracted now. There's a definite 101 squirrels right here. And Early is back. Early? Yeah, you want to tell the people about Daddy's monthly crafting spread? Okay, well here under my butt you see the list of whips. And over here is Daddy's goals, but Daddy never does these goals because Daddy has ADHD and is really bad at goals. The end. My name's Early. Hi, baby. Welcome to the crafting spread. Like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Early. Welcome to the crafting stream where we get no crafting done because it's just non-stop animals. Hi. Okay, Early. I'm gonna try and close this book. Can I pick up the book? No. No pick up book. Only Early. Alright, let's just go over there. I know, absolutely brilliant. Did you do a good job showing it off? Yeah, you did. Good girl. I haven't even done one round yet. is our hydrate message. We have been doing this for about an hour. So take this opportunity, do a stretch, stretch up, stretch out, stretch your neck, stretch your tailbone, stretch your back, throw yourself against the camera, and make sure you have something lovely to drink. I'm still working on my tea. I've got my holiday chai from Stash. I've also got a ginger ale and some water going. What a mess I've made. Okay, let's neaten things up a little bit. So there's more room for Orly. Really, do you want to join the Cozy Kitty Collective? Yes, I always forget we have so much tea. Yeah, I would love to. Sorry about that. I always love a cup of tea, but I always forget to make tea. So I'm trying to make it a habit now when I stream to make myself a cup of tea, and then at least it's like a little bit of a routine. I'm a fan of bag tea now. I used to be like a total loose leaf tea missionary and try to convert everyone to the ways of loose leaf tea. But now I'm into the convenience of the bagged, and I found a few blends that I really, really like. I usually drink Earl Grey, which is where Early's name comes from, by the way. She's Early Jean Grey. Or like a nice chai. We also have Pico, who is an orange tabby, and my son Gigi. His full name is Darjeeling. He's black and white. And then we have a corn snake named Genmaicha. No, that's not his full name. His full name is Prince Darian Eric Darjeeling. I just got screamed at. Not by Toot, by Early. Yes. You are really just loving the love, yeah. Oh, your office isn't set up yet? Yeah, it can be hard to get into a routine like that when you don't have like a system. When you don't have a space. Cream of Earl Grey? Yes, I love cream of Earl. I usually make my Earls pretty strong with just a little touch of coffee creamer, and it's so good. Because you just need that extra little, because sometimes the bergamot can get a little bit bitter, so I like the cream that it adds. It just smooths it out a little bit. I actually just set up an office of my own. I don't really have like an office space in the condo, because I don't really need one. Like, I don't work from home, and my streaming setup is on my main computer, which is in the living room, so I can't really set that up in an office. But I did set one up just for like doing the offline stream stuff, video editing, graphic design, those kinds of things. And it's nice to just have a dedicated space where you can like get your routine, get dressed, make your cup of tea, spend a few hours working on something, and then it's good. I'm a big fan of routine. it is like the physical reset that the mental reset that happens when you reset your physical space. It's a totally true thing. Like it's documented that that helps. And I'm so sorry about the camera shaking. Early is just throwing herself against my camera stand. Can you just like sit and chill? No, she's not. I just hope no one is gonna get. She sits and chills when she can sit and chill on my chest is the problem. I just don't want anyone to get like motion sick or anything from my stream. She's kind of sitting and chilling now. You can see her tail. But yeah, it's and my routine's been so disrupted. I've been off work for almost 10 months at this point. So having a routine has just not been a thing that I've had, and it's been really tough. So I like having a physical space where it's like, okay, this is what happens in this space, and this is what we do in this space. And then I also feel like like for me, I'm using it as a place to edit stream footage and make my stream graphics and that kind of thing. Which it's a hobby. It's not work, but it's one thing that it almost feels work-like in that like I have a to-do list, and when I'm not working on it, I kind of feel guilty and like I should be doing it instead of something else. So having a dedicated space for it and being able to be like, okay, I'm in this space, I'm doing the thing. I leave the space, I'm no longer doing the thing, is going to be really helpful. You're off for 2 months, and yeah. I haven't been super. Basically, I've been having a lot of health problems. I haven't been super vocal about it on the stream or in Jess's community, but just been having a lot of health problems. So, but we're getting there. Actually, today, which is May 22nd, I am celebrating officially 2 months without fainting, which is fantastic because for a while there, I was fainting 3 to 5 times a day. But it has been officially 2 months since the last time I fainted, which is amazing progress. So really happy about that. So had a rough couple of days, but really focusing on the positive there. Very exciting. Yes. Thank you for the rave. The rave and a single Illuminatus. Yeah, definitely something to be celebrating. Like I wasn't in a good place for a long time, but we're definitely getting there. Yeah. Okay, so we have done 1 row. We have to get to 7 rows and then weigh. So let's see. 1 hour and 15 minutes almost, and I have done 2 rows. Thank you. I appreciate the vibes and the love and the support. It's very appreciated. So we did a purl row last time, so now we're doing knit. Sorry, I disturbed the early. So yeah, speaking of routines, one thing I've been trying to work into my routine is going for a little walk every day. Which I know the term touch grass is usually used sarcastically, but oh my god, just getting outside and being in nature, even if it's just a city park, can help my mental state so much. And it's like I'm kind of salty about it, about how much it helps. Good boy, Jack. That's a good boy. Or possibly that's a good girl. I don't know if Jack is short for something else. That's a good little nibbling. Right, it's time to start journaling, I guess. What spreads are you working on? Are you setting up your June already, or just doing some mid-month stuff? Yeah, so many therapists have told you to go for walks, and it sounds like something that I roll at, but I know, and like you go for a walk, and it's just I'm going for my stupid little walk for my stupid mental health, and then I always come back and I'm like, oh, that was really nice. We've got our building is right next to a park. It's not a big park, it's just a little one. So I'll just walk down and then I'll go around a couple of times and then sit on the benches and read or knit or something like that. And just be outside for like half an hour, 45 minutes. Nothing too strenuous, nothing too stressful. Jack is short for Captain Jack Sparrow. Well, Captain. Good to see you, Captain. As for spreads, you're working on your June setup, going with a moonlit forest with moths theme. Yes, we love moths. We stan a moth queen in this chat. I meant what I said. Oh, that's so cool. I will stalk Jess's community to see some pictures of that when it's all done. I only do monthly setups. I don't do weeklies or dailies. And I usually do them like all at once on one day, a couple days before the month starts. The other kitty is Queen Katie Cat, and then there's Sir Charlie Mouse, who's technically a boy, but he's a princess. Absolutely understood. We have Gigi, who is a boy, but is definitely a princess. Is Sir Charlie Mouse a mouse or a kitter? We're also on row number 2, by the way, for anyone keeping score at home. That actually might be a fun crafty chat Monday, is setting up my June spreads. I usually do a pride theme for June. Maybe I'll do that again or mix it up this month. I do May is always Star Wars. Mouse is a cat, but he was named as such because you got him when he was a little too young to be away from his mama. With his little tail. Aw, he looked like a little mouse. That's adorable. I mean, I can't really say anything about names. My first pet was a goldfish named Kitty. So. Yeah, she was like one of those. She looked like a calico cat. That was why I named her Kitty, because she had that beautiful like black and gold and white patterning. Um, yeah, my parents were not pet people, so fish were the best that we had. I can see that we've got another friend coming to do a little bit of a roundabout there. So up on our critter cam, we have Pow, who is just. So the camera is set up on top of her hide, so she's been hiding underneath the camera. Um, so just wanted to get a little shot of her making her rounds. I will pass on your words of appreciation. She is absolutely precious. Like Nightbot said, she's a juvenile redfoot tortoise. Um, she has way more attitude than she does anything else. Really, when we first got a tortoise, we didn't expect her to have quite as much attitude as she does. But holy heck, uh, she has opinions about stuff, and she will let you know. I think right now she's complaining about the lack of food in her enclosure. But she already ate today, so. She's doing a little gardening. You can almost see it on the camera, but back where she is in her enclosure, you can kind of see a bunch of little sprouts on the ground. She's been planting tomatoes all over the place, and she's got one that's going pretty good, actually. I don't know how well it comes across on the camera, but she's been planting tomatoes. She is so talented. She's a much better gardener than either of us could be. Um, and also, her enclosure is like the perfect environment for tomatoes. It's warm and humid and sunny. So, either of us. Okay, she's a better gardener than me. Let's put it that way. Anything I try and plant just dies. But yeah, I think a spread setup stream might be kind of fun. I just do monthly spreads. I have several different journals that I use, like kind of one journal per hobby, plus a Mujo, and then I just do a monthly spread in all of them. But they're always on the same theme. So my theme for May was Star Wars, so all of my monthly spreads were Star Wars. Um, so, but of course, I have different information on each spread because it's all for different reasons, different hobbies, that kind of thing. You'd love to see a setup stream? Alright, so yeah, maybe one Crafty Monday we'll do that. Instead, I'll dig out my box of supplies and just set up my spreads. Because I have, the ones that I do is my everyday bullet journal, my crafting log, my gaming log, my reading log. Is that it? Yeah, 4. We just finished row number 3. So yeah, and then my weeklies and my dailies, I just use the rapid log method, standard Ryder Carroll. And even my monthly calendar rarely gets used because I'm usually doing my calendar digital. But because I find it difficult to future plan longhand. I kind of need digital because it has reminders and I can set up something months in advance and then it'll pop up on the right day. Like I said, I keep stopping what I'm doing to flip the sweater over as I'm working in a circle. But that's just because it's a little bit awkward. But because the sleeves are going to be so short, I'm hoping that they'll be done really soon. When I started working on this week before last, or last week, anyway, about a week and a half ago, I said that I wanted to be finished in the next month and a half, and really I think I'm going to be done next week. You seem to jump around and swap journals and digital all the time, so your goal for June is to have your calendar page act as my dashboard. That's a good idea. I kind of do the same thing. I have a calendar that like I schedule both events and tasks on it, and then I have like notes, links, and stuff. I use Notion for my digital. I didn't start this last week. I started this in November. I picked it back up last week. I should probably clarify. I started it in November and I worked on it like crazy. I worked on it like crazy for a little while, and then I put it down again. I started it because like I was starting to get really, really, really sick, and I kind of wanted a sweater that would be my like while I was sick journey sweater, and it would be for me, and it would be, you know, something that would remind me of this time in my life, but as more of a transformative time than as a bad time. So that's why I said a month and a half, because that would bring me to 3 months fainting free. But yeah, I really think it's going to be done before then. So I had done the yoke. So basically the collar up to, I had done the collar up to this point, so this much in November, and then in the last 2 weeks, just dropping stuff all over the place. In the last 2 weeks, I did the body, so all of this, and now I'm doing the sleeves. But it's going pretty fast because it's larger. But yes, Notion. I love Notion. I keep trying to get Moon to use Notion. We always joke whenever I bring it up. It's hashtag not spawn, hashtag should be spawn. Because I use it for everything. So I'm, yeah, it is. The body did actually fly by pretty quick. Please use Notion, please. It will change your life. Yep, it will. I use Notion as like my digital calendar and dashboard. I keep all of our medical information in there. I keep my knitting patterns in there. I keep my like list of stash in there. All kinds of stuff. So maybe we'll do a Notion tour plus monthly setup stream. Yeah, I think that would be then maybe me and Moon could do like a collab stream where I help her set up her Notion. Moon's like off playing Valorant, going like, I'm not going to use Notion, guys. Alright, so that was row number 4. But yeah, the body for this went actually fairly quickly. I have a like commercial hoodie that I absolutely love. So what I did a little while ago when I started making clothes for myself is I measured the hoodie. And now I just knit clothes to those measurements, which makes it really easy because then I'm not like knitting and then trying it on and then knitting and then trying it on. It's like I know how long I like stuff, so I just knit it that long. It's great. But my goal, my knitting goal, is to reduce the amount of physical space that my stash takes up. Right now it is in 6.5 26-liter bins. So like just those clear Sterilite bins, the ones that fit perfectly into like the IKEA Expedit. So I have 6.5 of those that have my current whips and works in progress and my stash in it, and I really want to get that down to like 4. That's kind of my goal by the end of the year, is to get it down to 4. If I could get it down to 3, that would be amazing. So I'm tackling all my big projects first to try and just like get them out of the way, because like, you know, you can have 6 pairs of socks on the go, but it takes up, you know, a quarter of a bin for that. Whereas I have one sweater that takes up an entire bin on its own. Children. Hang on one second. Sorry about that, guys. So we are about to have a very special guest. But if you are not a snake person, you might want to look away for the next 5-10 minutes. We are going to have a snake on stream. So just fair warning. If that's not your vibe, that's cool. You can duck out, and then I hope you'll come back. Snake, yes, show you the baby. Yeah, I will show you the baby. You've got 2 tubs of yarn. Yeah, there's so many things to focus on, but knitting has always been like my primary hobby. So I actually had far more yarn not so long ago, but one of my friends runs a charity knitting group, and I realized that at the rate that I could knit things for charity for her, I could just give her the yarn. So, hi baby. So I did that. I gave her a ton of yarn. Okay, so everybody say hello. This is Sandy. Sandy is an anery corn snake. And as you can see, corn snakes in general, they're zoomy boys. They are not chill boys at all. Sandy is a zoomy. Yes, so Sandy's actually a boy. His full name is Sandy the Sandworm. With corn snakes, you can actually tell pretty easily what gender they are. I mean, what sex they are. We don't know their gender. They can't talk. By how long their tail is. So you can see he's got a very long, skinny tail. Like his body goes quite. You can't even see because he's moving too fast. Anyways, take my word for it. He's got a long, skinny tail. He's a boy. So corn snakes are known for being zoomy little boys. So what I'm doing is I'm treadmilling him, which basically just means using your hands like a treadmill for him to move back and forth over my hands repeatedly. Because if I let him go, he will go. And I don't know if he's going to calm down. But yeah, he's a corn snake. He's about 2 years old at this point. He was my Valentine's Day gift to Toot a couple years ago. And we did get him because of his beautiful anery coloring, which is the black and white. He'll get a little more brownish as he grows up, but he's a sandworm from Beetlejuice, so his enclosure is Beetlejuice themed. He's staying pretty still right at this moment. He is a very good boy. He exists on pure spite. He is very sassy, but he usually eats pretty well for us. And he's never bitten me, which is good. He just likes to pretend he's going to go for us. Not for lack of trying. Yeah, exactly. We also got him when he was a baby. Like he was a teeny tiny baby. And he caused us much stress when he was younger because he would like to hide. So we're constantly thinking that he had gotten out of his enclosure. Yeah, he was a month old and just a few grams. He was a tiny, tiny baby. And gave us quite a few heart attacks thinking that he had vanished. So never again a baby corn snake. They are a lot of work and a lot of panic. But he's definitely one of our good boys. They're the best at hide, not so much at seek. He's got this lovely checkerboard black and white tum, which I'm trying to show you, and he's not letting me. But he's a very pretty boy. We do have a ball python, and ball pythons are super chill. If I were to bring him out, he would just be sitting in a ball right in the center of the camera and showing off perfectly for you. But he's also in shed, so I'm not going to heck with him too much. The ball pythons are very sensitive. Corn snakes are a little more like you can kind of heck with them more. And they won't go off their food as easily or anything like that. Did you see a mouse? Did you want the mouse? No. Coming to get me? And will be. Can you ask how it is having a snake and cats? I've always wanted a snake, but with 3 cats I'm nervous so someone managed to hunt the snake. So we do, I mean, that is a worry. We don't give the snakes any kind of free roam time. If they're out of their enclosure, they're in our hands. And right now, Toot is running interference for me. So if a cat were to come anywhere close, she would stop it. We don't let them interact at all. The one time that Jenny got out of his enclosure, the cats actually found him before I did. And they just kind of perked up. They didn't hunt him. They were just like, oh, there's something over here. So I think mainly because they're indoor cats and they don't... He's having some tea. Mainly because they're indoor cats, they don't know what a snake is. The only one who kind of is Bella. She's been wrapping on Jenny's enclosure and stressing him out a little bit. So I'm not so much concerned with the cats. It's just most of them don't care. Honestly, like if Early jumped up here right now, she would not give 2 hecks about the snake being out. So it really just kind of depends on the demeanor of your cat and your snakes, and unfortunately you don't know. But yeah, like they don't. There is no unsupervised playtime at all. And that goes for the tortoise as well. We always joke that the tortoise is not in an enclosure to keep her safe from the cats. It's to keep the cats safe from her. But no unsupervised playtime for the cats and the reptiles. Yeah, Jenny has a guard dog to keep Bella from seeing in his enclosure. Yeah, because yeah. So the enclosures that we have, you actually need to unlock them with 2 keys. So there's very little chance that they can be opened from the inside or the outside by anything that doesn't have a thumb. So that's and then even before we got these enclosures, the ones that we had did have a lock on them, which again you needed a thumb to open. But yeah, I mean it really does depend on the snake. And we got PVC enclosures from a company called All Reptiles. They're manufactured close to us. They are PVC, which is like a plastic. They are fantastic for keeping heat and humidity. Like almost too good at keeping heat and humidity. But they are lightweight. They've got an acrylic door. There's no glass. And they're price-wise, they're comparable to a glass enclosure. The ones that we have are, and you can actually see it. Pow is in a PVC enclosure as well. So yeah. Oh, thank you for the Discord. Yeah. One thing I've been thinking about is adding links to our animal supplies. Sandy's just getting into everything. Adding links to our animal supplies so that people can kind of see what we're working on. So yeah, if you look, so this is Pow's enclosure. It's PVC. It's got the acrylic doors, and you can actually see the locks on the inside. The one lock isn't actually engaged because the cord for the camera is threaded through that door, but usually that lock will be up. The cats have not been able to enter in any way. The snakes have not been able to break out in any way. All right, so we're going to say goodbye to Sandy. Goodbye, people! Because he's hooking himself on all my stuff. Here you go. Yeah, they are very safe. The Jenny's enclosure, the glass on the bottom cracked, but like we had a heat pad underneath, and it kind of stuck to the glass and kept it from like shattering. But still, it was broken, and so yeah, these are 100% plastic. The one that you can see on the screen now, it's an 8 foot by 2 foot by 16 inch. 16 or 18 inch tall, I can't remember which. We have LED lights on the side closest to the camera, and then on the side furthest from the camera is a 4 foot UVB fluorescent bulb. And it is powered by heat tape under half of the enclosure. So like a 4 foot by 2 foot, 4 foot by 1 foot strip of heat tape. But yeah, and it keeps humidity very well controlled. So species that like higher humidity, like ball pythons, redfoot tortoises, need a it's good. And we have a tree eat going on. We have some not sure if that's banana or melon. So that's banana. For the tortoise. It's banana. Okay, so we got some banana out there for Pow, so she might come and see us in a minute. But yeah, and then also in Pow's enclosure is a water fountain that Toot built from scratch. You can just about see it in the back corner there. We call it Mermaid Lagoon because, as you can see, it's a Neverland themed enclosure. So she's got a water fountain, and when we first set this enclosure up, the ambient humidity was over 100% constantly. It was a battle to get it down, which usually in this climate, because it's quite dry, we were battling to get it up high enough, but trying to get it down to 90% was a fight, which we eventually won. So it's good now, and because all of the animals have different humidity requirements. Here comes Pow. She smells her banana. Pow just took out the camera. Pow! Pow! Okay. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Dude is just gonna go and fix the camera.
Human child.
She's like, I do not wish to be perceived. So yeah, all of the animals have yeah, that's good. That's good. Yes, eat the one that we can see more easily. Perfect. So all of our animals have different humidity needs. Perfect. Okay. All of our animals have different humidity needs. Redfoot tortoises, as they are tropical species, they need like an 80 to 90% humidity range. Ball pythons need a 60 to 80% humidity range, and corn snakes, which Jenny and Sandy are corn snakes, they require like a 40 to 60. So all of their enclosures are in different parts of the house, and they have different setups and different. So with the PVC, we're better able to control all of that. It's been great. Thank you so much for that, Toot. So yeah, and we're very fortunate. We live quite close to a reptile supply store. Probably, I'd say the best one in the city, but I could be biased. And they've been super helpful. It's so much to keep track of. Yeah, so that's what I use Notion for it. I keep track of all of my animal husbandry in Notion. I have like their ambient temps. I have what they eat. I have the last known weights. I have any like vet notes, anything like that. I keep all of that in Notion. And we have some kitty content on, you can see in the background of Pow's enclosure. So she's just enjoying her banana. Redfoot tortoises, a large part of their diet is fruit, and usually overripe fruit that fell to the forest floor. So she likes bananas and strawberries and raspberries and melon. Pretty much any kind of fruit you can throw at her, she will go after. She loves cherry tomatoes and eggs, but the last time I gave her eggs, she pooped so stinky, so no more eggs for her for a while. But as pet parents, that is something we know about. Yeah, it was pretty stinky. I keep forgetting that I'm like knitting on camera and I pulled the work closer to me. Yeah, she's a very pretty girl. She's also very muddy. The substrate in her enclosure is mostly dirt, and she likes getting completely muddy. So every now and then I'll give her a scrub, and it's like, oh right, you are red and yellow instead of just brown all over. When you first took in Jack, he'd only eaten cardboard from garbage cans. Aww. The purging of the garbage was rank. Yup. Oh man, I can imagine. Ugh. The things we do for the kitters that we love. So was this the 4th row or the 5th row? 13th. Great, thank you. Parent mode activates. Yep, exactly. So I think that was the 5th row. So we've got 2 more, and then we'll weigh our yarn. We might get more distance out of this than I think we will, but definitely going to be weighing obsessively as we continue working on this. I was actually at an emergency vet last night, and so lots of pet parents coming in, and like we're all just crazy. Like it's no, you're not. I'm very glad you're here, and it's great chatting with you. That's why we do this. Like I like having a crafty hangout. That's the whole reason I'm doing this. Is I want people to have a cup of tea, have something to drink, bring a project. We can just work on it together. That whole idea of body doubling. And it's just nice to do stuff together. Like I do miss having a knitting group, an in-person knitting group, but just going to one. But just going to one is a little bit difficult. Okay, sorry, back to my story. Yes, I was at the emergency vet last night. Our cat is okay and doing much better. Everybody is fine. There were lots of pet parents, and we're all a little bit crazy. But just seeing some really sweet pet parents interacting with their children. It's good. And yeah, everybody's doing okay. Giving us a panic. We are. I am a concerned father. But actually, while I was there, and I was there quite late. I got out of there around midnight. But a police officer came in, and he had this beautiful black dog who was limping, and she was bleeding a little bit from her paw. And he was like, "Oh, I found her at a scene nearby." So I brought her here, and the shelters are closed. So I brought her here to see if she's chipped, and to make sure I can get her paw taken care of. And they were like, "Okay, yeah, we can do that for you." And he gave like all of his personal information as the contact for the dog, and he was he was like, you know, I'm gonna take her to the shelter afterwards. And then we were all kind of talking, and by the time the dog was like taken care of, he was like, yeah, she's coming home with me. So, police officer got a new doggo last night. It was adorable. I know, it was so cute. And like, I'm so glad I witnessed it too. Like, that's the kind of story that you hear about all the time, but like, it's a little too chicken soup for the soul-y, and you're like, did that actually happen or not? But like, it actually happened. So it was really cute. As he was leaving, he's like, okay, I have to go talk to my wife now. Yeah, it was really sweet. The vet team there was really nice too, which is always good. So, I mean, nobody wants to be at the emergency vet at midnight on the Sunday of a long weekend, but all things considered, it wasn't bad. Yeah, that is what happened with Gigi. Gigi is our black and white boy, Prince Darian Eric Darjeeling. Um, we went into a pet store to get some cat food or toys, one of the two. And like, we weren't even anywhere near home. We were visiting my parents at the time. And I just realized my mic is up super loud. Sorry. We were nowhere near home, and they had kittens, of course. And we're like, oh yeah, they're cute, but we can't really take in another cat right now. Like, we know that this isn't going to happen. But Toot has like a special bond with tuxedos, and they were little tuxedo kittens. And there was one kitten who like immediately latched onto her, and she walked away, and he was crying and crying, and we got in the car and we drove home, and Toot was crying and crying and crying, and we went back the next day and got him because it was clear that they were meant to be together, and they are inseparable now. And he was very, 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 very sick. Within a day and a half of us getting him from the store, he was very, very, very ill. But because we were looking after him, yeah, it was 18 hours. Because we were looking after him, we noticed it, and we were able to rush him to a vet. Whereas if he'd been at the store, like, maybe they wouldn't have noticed it. And he pulled through, obviously. So this was like 8 years ago. So he's doing well. He's our biggest, chunkiest son. So yeah, and he takes care of us. We take care of him. He's a good boy. Yeah, and usually he's trying to steal the spotlight when I'm streaming, so I don't know where he is right now. He's probably asleep somewhere warm. His sister, who was at the vet, has been getting wet food all day, and whatever wet food she isn't eating, I've just been bringing out and leaving for him. So it is the best day of his life right now, because he has been getting non-stop wet food. Just non-stop wet food. He's a happy boy. You have similar stories with all three cats. You never planned to own cats. Yeah, we planned our first two. We planned Bella and Pico. The rest of them just kind of happened. I mean, we sort of planned for Binks too, but we didn't plan for her to be like as attached as I didn't expect to meet a soulmate cat at that point in my life. Let's put it that way. So yeah, back to what I was saying about body doubling. But yeah, that's the whole point that I wanted to do these Monday crafty streams, is because it's just nice to craft with someone else. I miss doing my knitting groups in person, because it's just nice to talk to people about crafting, be together with other people who are working on stuff and have similar goals. Whoop, whoop. The prince is here. This is Gigi, my son, my big handsome chunky son. He has some treats. Are there more treats? Are there treats? Nope. Okay. He's gone. No more treats. No treat. Break skateboard. He's back. Totally of his own volition. He's got his socks on. He's ready for knitting stream. No, he's done. We tried. We tried. I know, he's got the cutest little white socks, and like his front paws are just like little toe socks. He's a very handsome man. His name, like his shelter name, was Prince Edward, because the rest of his litter was like Alberta and Ontario and that kind of thing. So his shelter name was Prince Edward. So we named him. We kept the prince, and we named him Darian after Tuxedo Mask, and Eric after the Phantom of the Opera, and then Darjeeling because that was our, naming scheme of the tea thing. So, but we call him GG for short, which Toot calls him GG, and has never seen Kiki's Delivery Service, which has, of course, a black cat named Gigi in it. So we have tons of Kiki's Delivery Service merch in the house just because of Gigi. A specific long name, yeah. All of our cats have very long names. Not very long names. They just get added to as we get, when you have to put on the dad voice and use their full name, sometimes we just add an extra name in there. That's how Bella got all of her middle names. So cool that we reference Phantom of the Opera. Yeah, Phantom of the Opera is very important to us. We actually had a quote from Phantom of the Opera on our wedding invitations. And yeah. So it's very big for us too. A Phantom of the Opera print dress? Oh, that sounds so fancy. Toot has a hoodie, and I can't remember if she has any other Phantom clothes. I mean, of course we have a mask hanging around the house. Yes, our cat's names. Rosabella Francis is a 13-year-old brown and gray tabby. Orange Julius Pico is a 13-year-old orange tabby. Jean Earl Grey, or Earl Jean Grey, is, you saw her. Prince Darian Eric Darjeeling. Emily Lapsang Binks, Da Hong Pao, Genmaicha, Sandworm, and Pennywise. Yep. Well, if you would like to join the Discord, you are more than welcome to join the Discord and drop it in there. Shameless plug. But yeah, if you would like to join the Discord, you'll get notifications when I post new videos, new TikToks when I go live, and also we have some daily affirmations and that kind of thing. Already have? Nice. Sweet. Thank you. Okay. Was that 6 or... Thanks, Nightbot. Was that 5 or 6 rows? Dude's so helpful. Yeah, I think that was 6, so I think I'm on row 7 now. It was either 5 or 6, thank you. You posted a pic of Jack sleeping? I'm knitting right now. Oh wait, you mean over here? Knitting. So this will be number 7, yes. No, so if I'm knitting, I knit and then purl was 1. Let's see if I can count. I'm not always a troll, but even when you're sincere, no one is sure. Yep, that's very true. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can count from the pickup stitches. That's my pickup. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we need to stop and measure. Just say no. I need to stop. Yeah, I need to stop, collaborate, and listen. Okay, so we are at 24 grams. So the last one was 35. Where did my little piece of paper go? I probably knocked it off. I need something to write on. Sandy took it with him. Alright. So it's 37.5. We're at 24. So that took 13.5 grams for 7 rows. Right? That makes sense? So we're at just about 2 grams a row. So I can probably do... that would be another 12 rows, but I don't want to push it that far. So 13 and 5/10. Thank you. Appreciate it. So 24 grams will get us approximately 12 rows. We have to do 7 rows of bind off. So that would be 5. But I want to leave us a little bit of wiggle room, so I'm only going to do 4 more rows. Does that math check out? I love that Moon is like completely gone, because math, she's done. So 4 more rows, and then we will start the ribbing. So I was a little bit clickbaity in my title. I don't think I'm going to finish this today on stream. I'm going to go for about another hour, but I don't think I'm going to finish this, but considering how much we've already done and how little there is to go, probably going to finish it soon. Yeah, well, if we play Yarn Chicken, we play Yarn Chicken. It's only knitting. All I have to do is rip it back a little bit. That's why I like knitting over some other crafts, because yarn, you can, unless you're steeking it, which is when you actually cut your piece of knitting, you can just pull it back and redo it. You're not wasting any materials. You're wasting nothing but time, really. But especially quilting, I tried quilting, and not only can I not sew a straight line to save my life with a sewing machine, cannot sew a straight line with a sewing machine, but we get so anxious about cutting the fabric, because as soon as you cut it, it's cut. Like, you can't go back and uncut it. It's an anxiety mood right there. Yep. And like with knitting, I trust my skills enough to be able to fix any mistakes, or be able to adapt on the fly. So we'll do 4 more rows of just the plain stockinette with this garter band, and then we'll do the ribbing and the bind off. And I think that should be a pretty decent length for the sleeves, like for a short sleeve anyways. I did the other day find, like, I keep saying that this is all the yarn I have left. I did find another like half skein of the shimmer shawl, so I could have eked out like maybe another few inches of sleeve, but the yarn is black and yellow, so it looks good on its own, but it does not fit with the rest of the sweater. Only ever tried quilting once, and it was a lap blanket. Only reason it turned out okay was because my aunt helped me. And it was a Christmas gift from my partner at the time, so I'm doing a hyper focus. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing what you can get done when you're hyper focusing. I wish hyper focus was like a superpower that you could turn on and off. Because like, so much could get accomplished if we could just harness the hyper focus. I've tried giving my hyper focus like options. It's like, okay, so we want to hyper focus on this video game, but what if instead we hyper focused on this or this other thing? But it never quite works. Even if you could only turn it on for so many hours a day. Yeah. Yeah, like I'd happily do just a couple days of like, if I could hyper focus on something for an hour and then just normal focus for the rest of the day without getting distracted by a hyper focus, that'd be fantastic. Can you imagine how much power we neurodivergents would have if we could only harness it? But yeah, knitting 17 inches of the body of a sweater in a week and a half, definitely a hyper focus moment. Unfortunately, hyperfocus chooses when and how long without our input, and yeah, we could rule the world. I know, right? Okay, so that was one row. Take my little scrap of paper towel. One. I also love that I have like journals upon journals upon journals around me, and I grabbed paper towel to write on. But none of them were the right journal. Or at least none of them were the journal that I wanted to show on stream. Hi, Moonifer. You missed it. We had to do more math. But we are only 11 rows away from finishing this sleeve. Ah, yes, speaking of hyperfocus and special interests, or spintrests, if you will. Moon and her nails are a wonderful special interest. Hollow Taco is a brand of nail polish that is super pretty. So yes, Moon, what we did was we knit 7 rows, and then we measured the yarn to see how much yarn those 7 rows took. And then we did some math to figure out how much yarn we had left, so how many rows we could do. And the result was 11 rows. Yeah, we're going to be playing it a little bit close, but yeah. So I've got to do 3 more rows of this plain stockinette situation, and then 6 rows of ribbing, and then the bind off. So it's really only 11. It's really only 9, but it's 9 plus a bind off at this point. Agreed, though. The word tacos does evoke deliciousness. Moon, we've also decided that you and I were going to do a collab stream where I walk you through setting up your first Notion. So it's happening. Just deal with it. Yeah, you have no choice in this. It's happening. Notion sponsor when? I know, right? Tacos sound really yummy now that we're talking about food. Yeah. I was gonna make nachos for lunch because we have leftover taco beef from the other night, but we don't have any tortilla chips. So that plan was kind of tanked. I think we might do burgers for dinner. Don't know if you want burrito or burger. Yeah. The the Notion AI. I did actually. It was kind of creepy. It's kind of good as a jumping off point, but I wouldn't use it to replace anything. It was a little bit creepy though. I was talking to someone about the possibility of starting a long COVID server, which I decided very quickly was just like one thing too many for me to do. But I typed into the Notion AI long COVID Discord server, like just that sentence, that was it. And it populated like a server description, a list of channels, like rules. Like it was, I would have had to do very little editing. It was very creepy. Taco time? I don't think I've ever had taco time. But burritos would be good. Do Fat Bastard or what's the other one? You're gonna make me sad. Yeah, Mighty Taco. Mighty Taco is a chain in like upstate New York. It's so good. And we don't live in upstate New York. Yes, we are in Toronto. Yeah, we are. Are you also in Toronto? Because it's getting to be a serious small world. Hi! Yes, Canadian hi. You could tell I was from down east by the way I say the word yarn. Ah, you're in Saskatchewan. Alright. That's fantastic. Look, I can pronounce the word cousin without the T. My dad has a very, very special maritime accent. He says cousin and chimbley instead of chimney. And the position that one could play in hockey would be the goalie. So yeah, my dad's accent is quite strong. The goalie, yep. And like he'll say like axed, like I axed my cousin to play goalie. And things like that. And he'll add H's in where there's not supposed to be an H, or take them away. Like the Huber is driven by a human. Yeah. So I mostly grew up in Ontario, but just picking up from my parents. I say yarn and car weird, and I do things like say side by each instead of side by side, and I point at things with my middle finger, which is a very specific like down east mannerism that seems incredibly rude up here, but I just do it automatically. Yeah, French Canadians do the mobile H's. Yeah, if I'm pointing something out on like a menu or something, I'll do it with the middle finger. Like I don't know what it is, so yeah. Like I don't know why, but it's just natural for me to do that. Like if I'm gonna show you guys. I'm not flipping you off, I promise. But if I was like explaining what was going on, I'd just be like, okay, so we got this thing here, and then this thing here, and then this thing here. That's just the way my hand does it. I promise. So I was like pointing at something on a menu, I would use my middle finger. I know it probably seems so rude, but like it's completely unintentional. Um, and it's just naturally how my fingers move. Yeah. I think I think part of it might be that we do the Tim Hortons it's part of the Tim Hortons point because like if you're holding your Timmies, right? You got to use these two fingers to hold on to it, and then you can gesture with these fingers, right? Gesture. Oh, the Timmy's finger is such a it's such a thing. I went to Mexico when I was in college, and we had a like Canadian who lived in the city in Mexico, and and she had to unlearn the Timmy's wave because for them, if you're like crossing the street in front of you, if you're crossing the street in front of someone, you wave at them, right? But you do kind of like a this wave, like you're holding something. But that's rude in Mexico. You have to kind of go like this, which seems rude to us. But for Canadians, we do it because it's like you're holding a cup and you're kind of waving with your other fingers. Um, but that's rude in Mexico, and for them, what's polite is to kind of do this sharp gesture, which seems very rude to us. Um, but that's what the polite thing to do when you're crossing the street is. So the more you know. Because it's not just that we have a Timmy's cup, because like coffee cups are an American thing too. But we have to be polite while holding our coffee. I like this is the theory I'm going with, and this is the hill that I will die on, is that a lot of our cultural gestures are because they need to be carried out while holding a cup of Timmy's. Oh, definitely. Mannerisms are so interesting and specific, and like how they vary so much from place to place, and like what's polite here isn't polite somewhere else. It's something we've run into a lot because like I'm from the Maritimes culturally, and two, my wife is from the South, the American South. So they are similar in that they're both kind of like backwoods type cultures, but what is considered polite or rude in each one is very different. So we ran into quite a lot. Backwoods, yeah, I stand by that. There are other words I could have used. Down east is the south of Canada. You know this. Nightbot doesn't call Toot out on anything. Toot controls the Nightbot. Down east is the heckin' Florida of Canada. Yeah. I think Newfoundland is the Florida of Canada. No, it's crazy the cultural differences. And like they can be so jarring because we go back and forth to the States, and some things are just like they're so close to being the same, but at the same time they're so different. But because they're so close, They feel like they should be the same, so they throw you off almost more because you weren't expecting it. Yeah, Nightbot needs some fine-tuning. Sorry about that. I remember that first stream. You got timed out so much by Nightbot. I felt so bad. Toot once again using her mod powers for evil instead of good. You're staying at a B&B, and then we're going to throw out the recyclable bottles because in the States, leaving that is considered rude, not cleaning up after yourself. Oh. Huh, interesting. Yeah, definitely interesting. Stuff like that, and like tipping culture is different in different places. Yeah. So we're getting a little bit less of the annoying need to twist as I get more into the sleeve. But you can see how rapidly our little tiny cake is dwindling. But yeah, I think I like that color transition. Like, so I can kind of tell that we started the see, I did it again. I can kind of tell that we started the new yarn there, but because they both have the white in it, it does look a little more gradient, like it's planned. All right, you're gonna hop off. Well, I'm so glad you were able to come by. And yeah, have a great night. Enjoy your food. Jack and Katie, have a good night. And yeah, I'll see you around. Definitely pop that story in the Discord. I will check it out as soon as I get off the stream. And I hope to see you around some more. Oh yeah, Moon. It's in Montreal. It's customary to pack the recyclable bottles separate from the recycling bin. Yeah, you too. Have a good one. Bye bye. See, packing them separately does make sense. Because yeah, because people do go through them. Like even here, people go through them and pick up stuff for money. I feel like that's more of a thing in cities than out in the burbs where we are. But yeah, no one in your hometown does that. No. Makes sense. Okay, so that is 4 rows. Which means we are starting on our ribbing. So we're going to do 6 rows of ribbing and then bind it off, and then that's our sleeve. So we're probably not going to finish it. So we might not. Well, I don't know. I'm going to go for another about half hour or so, and then we'll see how far we get. Ribbing is usually slower for me because there's so much, because you're changing from knit to purl every stitch, which is just a lot of extra movements. did you get a cup of tea today? I'm drinking holiday chai. Aha, you also had holiday chai. Tea twins. I started a coffee this morning, but like I kept forgetting that I had it. So I eventually it just got too cold to drink. So yeah, I've got holiday chai, and as you know, I always have it with a little touch of creamer. But I love that one. I do need to restock on my double spice chai at some point. That's a problem for another day. Oh, she does? She doesn't want to drink because... that's a silly reason. Oh yeah, is there anything good in there? You've been going through it? I mean, most chais are just god tier. The rest is coconut mango. Yes. It's so unfortunate for you. Coconut mango is, of course, D tier when it comes to tea. I'm about to be divorced. It's fine.
Excuse me?
Yes, coconut mango, your nemesis. D tier, more like E tier. I know, I was trying to be generous because Toot's right here, but she'll never hear us. That's amazing. For you, for those of you who are listening instead of reading chat, Toot just accidentally timed out Moon for 600 seconds, which I guess is 10 minutes, and deleted all of her messages. So now there's just some unbelievable goblin cackling going on. Wow, okay. Great. Toot doesn't know her own strength. Well, Moon, I hope you are still here and still listening. Oh, that's too funny. I mean, just to say, I don't condone internet bullying, but that was internet bullying for comedic purposes, so... Oh, man. Moon, you're back! Yay! The ban was lifted, but your spirits were not. Moon, I'm sorry this stream was not a safe place for you. There's a reason I'm the cozy DH and Toot is the chaos DH. Oh. Oh, that's too funny. Oh, I need to take a drink. Like. Moon says, for anyone watching VODs, I am okay. I am even wildly entertained. Yes, absolutely. I don't. It's funny, but I don't want anyone to ever feel unwelcome or like my mods are going to smack down the ban hammer for your taste in tea. Toot would never do that to anyone but Moon. Oh, I did it again. I'm really loving this. We're getting into the purple a little bit more. So I'm hoping that we'll get into some of this dark purple by the time we're done. Toot is why we can't have nice things. Anyway, before Toot decided to go mad with power, I was gonna ask if anyone is playing anything interesting lately. I just started playing a new game called Witchwood. You play as a cranky old witch who is questing about the place to save a maiden that's sleeping in her basement, and she doesn't remember why or how this happened. But it's very cute. It's like all hand-drawn graphic style, and it's fetch quests and potion crafting and that kind of thing. It's very, very cute. I've been quite enjoying it so far. Toot is playing Graveyard Keeper. Graveyard Keeper is a like pixel art style. I don't know if I'd call it a farming sim, but it's like a life sim management game where you play as a graveyard keeper. It's very, very fun, very spooky, creepy, but also in a funny way. So yeah, Witchwood was in the Whitethorn Games bundle from Humble Bundle. So it's like a bunch of indie games in that same kind of like chill, cozy style. Yes. So Graveyard Keeper does have farming, and she enjoys it because there's no romance, like there's no romanceable characters, and also you do a lot of murder and corpse desecration. So there's that. Mordor. And Moon is playing Valorant, Phasmo, and Cult of the Lamb. We love Cult of the Lamb. We are lamb stands in this house. Cult of the Lamb is so good. It's nothing that I can play because I'm not technically proficient enough at the dungeon crawling aspect, but I love watching other people play. So we are on the second row of our ribbing. I don't know if you noticed, but back here I had to. I'm doing one by one, so like knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, and then here I ended up with 2 knits next to each other, so I just purled 2 together to get rid of that extra stitch. It's not worth going back or ripping out or anything like that. It's just easier to do a little knit 2 together, and then you're done. Knit, knit. I am a big proponent of fudging things in knitting. I like to, if I notice a mistake and it's not super noticeable, like if I have an extra stitch or not enough stitches, I'll just throw an extra one in. I won't go back several rows and fix it. And even with like the underarm, I'd rather add in a stitch afterwards than stress about trying to fix it in the moment. It's very much the Elizabeth Zimmerman way of doing things. But yeah, I'm a big fan of fudging it. Fudging it, winging it, starting without swatching. It's only knitting. I mean, I am experienced, so I kind of have the experience to be able to do that. To be able to wing something or to fudge it in a way that's not going to ruin it. But yeah. Speaking of, do you know what I just realized? We are on the second row of the ribbing, and I was supposed to change needles. So, we're going to do that now. So, ribbing is often done on a smaller needle than the rest of the work. So this is my needle tips. You can see that they're all labeled with their sizes. And I have 3 different sets in here. They're all knit picks. I have 2 sets of wood. So these are wood, and these rainbow ones are wood, and then these ones are nickel. And I just, different yarns work well with different types of needle material. So I will not be ripping. I've only done 1 row in a little bit. So heck it, we're moving forward. Rip it, rip it. Another knitting term. Also, I don't know where my little T-pin went to. I think one of the cats took off with it, so I'm just using a stitch marker to loosen my needles. It's just do not disappear into the stitches. No frogging in this house. Frogging is one of my favorite knitting terms because the etymology of it is so silly. Welcome back! We're only probably going for another like 10 minutes, just to be honest. But I'm very glad you came back. You missed Moon being banned, and me hacking up the ribbing a little bit. But it's okay. It's fine. I just forgot to change needle sizes when I started the ribbing, which is exactly what I did on the bottom of the sweater. And, like, honestly, you can't tell. And if someone is close enough to tell, what are they doing that close to my butt? So, same thing. Yes, leftovers. Toot made goulash the other night, so I've been eating goulash leftovers. It has been fantastic. Yeah, American style goulash, not like authentic Hungarian goulash, just the American style stuff, which is so good. It's one of my favorite meals, honestly. Make it with like a can of Rotel and just a little bit spicy. I think I'm gonna wrap up here in a few minutes, and then Toot and I will figure out what we're gonna do for dinner. So we are gonna be back streaming again on Wednesday. I'm gonna be playing Dredge. It's actually gonna be our final Dredge stream, which is very exciting. We are like almost at the end of the game. So that's gonna be Wednesday at 6 o'clock Eastern, 6 p.m. Eastern. And then back again, Farming Friday, we're going to get started around 4 o'clock and go for a couple of hours then. So again, that's 4 p.m. Eastern. And then we'll be back crafting next Monday. So all the schedules are going to be up in the Discord. All the new content's going to be up on the YouTubes. And yeah, I think that's all the stream announcements we have. No special events going on or anything just yet. I will be posting finished pictures of this in the Discord because it's going to be done well before next Monday's stream. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, like Moon, we have to do our Notion collab stream. Right? That's what I'm talking about. I mean, honestly, I love streaming. If I didn't know that it would do bad things for my energy management, I'd be streaming like every day. And yes, a shout out for our lovely friend Moon, who is a very proficient Valorant streamer. She's going to be streaming again on Thursday evening. Are you doing Cult of the Lamb on Thursday, or are you doing Valorant? Okay, fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to have you back. Oh, you don't know yet? Well, I think you know that we would vote for a Cult of the Lamb, but I do enjoy hanging out with your Valorant streams. So yeah. Alright. So, let's leave it there. We got a lot done today. We got a lot done today. So we started here. You can't even really see it on the camera where so this would have been 2 strands of white. I very unconsciously pointing with my pointer finger. This would have been 2 strands of white, and then we started with 1 strand of white and 1 strand of pink, but like you can't really see it. It blends in really well. So that's where we started today, and we've done all of this, along with all of the math and the weighing and the winding and all of that good stuff. So let's take a quick peekaroo. I am actually going to send us over to one of my favorite stream inspirations, pasta. Pastaroni Ravioli. She's playing Played Up, which is an amazing game. It's so much fun to watch, so much fun to play, and Pasta is a totally unhinged Chaos Goblin, which, as you know, we love. So let's go on raid there, and I'm going to get that raid set up. Thanks so much. I love you guys. I'll see you on Wednesday. Thanks for coming. Be good, and have a good night. All right, bye-bye. 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 Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.